Hi everyone, welcome to the visual guide for Hell's Lid. This is one of two new instances made available by patch 4.2 in Final Fantasy XIV, Rise of a New Sun. I've got a lava advice when it comes to this dungeon. So much so that I'm just crumbling under the magnitude of it all. My name is Ms. Tech and I'll be your dungeon guide. After a few regular trash mobs, we jump down into this fiery trap where we face off against 4 Nurikabe. These will continuously cast fire on their primary target until they are destroyed. Tanks will need to grab enmity on each one individually, which can be a bit tricky as they are spaced a bit apart. Once all 4 are down, the road opens up to more trash mobs and another fiery wall. You can grab all of these and burn them down, but be careful. You'll notice a ton of AoE telegraphs constantly being thrown out around you, so watch your step. The first boss is Otake Maru. 100-ton swing will deal damage, knockback, and apply a vulnerability up debuff to any player hit. When you see this cast, make sure you're out of melee range. Periodically, you'll notice these circle telegraphs spawn around the platform. Large boulders will soon fall in these areas and should be avoided as necessary. 10-ton slash is a large frontal cone. The boss will turn towards the player and begin the cast, giving you time to get out of the way. Eventually, the boss will leap onto a player, throw his weapons up into the air, and mark them for prey. He will begin to vomit lava while slowly following the affected player. Be sure to move away from him during this mechanic. At the same time, the 2 weapons he threw up will be dropping back down on the platform in areas indicated by 2 circle telegraphs. Players should avoid these areas as the boss will eventually leap onto each weapon to re-equip it and then do a heavy-hitting spin attack. Once he's picked up his 2 weapons, the fight will resume and all mechanics will repeat until the boss is down. In this next section, we'll chase a ferret through more trash mobs until we find out that he is actually the second boss, Kamaitachi. Whipping Witchrit is a heavy-hitting frontal attack with no cast time. Make sure you're not standing in front of the boss if you don't need to be. When the wind begins to howl, players will need to dodge a large donut-like attack by being either in melee range or at max range. The Patient Blade is a massive 180-degree attack that should be avoided. Standing near melee range can make this easier to dodge. When the wind shifts, a large column attack will dissect the platform. Dodge this is necessary. Whisper in the Wind will have the boss flying away to spawn 4 wind adds, a number of wind orbs around the platform, and 4 tornadoes that will travel in a circle around the outer edge of the platform. Stepping into any of these wind orbs will knock you back and deal damage. Periodically, the tornadoes will stop moving and form lines between them. These lines indicate where the boss will bounce between each tornado, obliterating anything in its path. The attack itself is much thicker than the lines may indicate, so players should make sure to move into a safe zone as necessary. You'll also need to dodge the smaller AoE attacks from the adds themselves. After 2 line pattern attacks, the boss will pick a tornado to slam down on, dealing proximity-based damage. Move away from this area to reduce damage. Now that the boss has returned, the rest of the fight will repeat until you win. The next section has more mobs with more AoE attacks to dodge. Make sure you take extra care with these snake adds as they have a very nasty cleave. These 2 mini-bosses are fairly straightforward as long as you watch out for and react to each AoE attack. The last boss is Genbu, better known as Turtle Yoda. He'll periodically hit the tank fairly hard, so be ready with those cooldowns and heals. Hell of Water will create a cross AoE attack that should be avoided. Hell of Waste will target players with this large circle AoE. The affected players should move away from others to avoid overlapping damage. When he casts Sinister Tide, you'll notice each tile of the platform will form a glowing arrow on it and a small blue orb will begin to flash on one of the tiles. This orb will then move in the direction indicated by the tiles until it hits the outer edge and disappears. Players will have to quickly determine the path of this orb to avoid taking excess damage and stacking vulnerability up debuffs on themselves. These mechanics will continue for a while until Genbu moves to the center and forms a shield around him, knocking all players back with Hell of Waves. The outer tiles of the platform will also periodically glow, and these should be avoided as necessary. Players will need to destroy the shield before the boss reaches 100 on his focus gauge, or you will wipe. At this point, the encounter will continue with increased difficulty and overlap of these mechanics. The principles remain the same though. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Up next, we'll hop into the Fractal Continuum Hard. As always, thanks for watching. Till next time.